Hello everybody, my name is Stephen Keys and I am making this video for the KMEA Conference 2022. I was really looking forward to meeting and being around people again for the first time in forever. But unfortunately, COVID has hit my house and my family. We're on lockdown for a while. Uh, so hopefully we'll be able to make it through all this and we'll get there, and we'll get there where we can be around people again soon. But I told KMEA that I would go ahead and make a video of what my session would be. That way, if anybody wanted to watch it, they would have access to it. So here we are. This is Google Apps for the Music Educator. And we're going to look at apps, add-ons, and extensions, as well as a few other things that you can use in your classrooms with your students as soon as you get back in the classroom. You can find a copy of this presentation at this URL. I highly recommend you make your own copy of this presentation. A lot of the things that I put in here are links, and so they will take you right to those tools that are there. And so you can use that link, use this link here, and you can make a copy, and you can have your own version of this. You can also scan this QR code, and it will also take you to the presentation. Now, I'm a fan of QR codes, and Google has set it up to where anything in Google world can be turned into a QR code, and you can do that. We'll call this one your first freebie of the session. In the address bar, the Omni box, you have this little up arrow button. You hit that and hit QR code, and it will turn that document into a QR code for you. And then you can post it, and you can access things that way. I know some friends of mine will use QR codes that link to a Google form, and they use it for attendance. Your students may not have their music. They may forget their instrument. They may have reeds that look like, I don't know, mountain range. They may not have what they need to be as successful as they should be in your classrooms that day. But they will not leave their house without their smartphone. And so you can have a QR code posted. Students come in and scan that QR code, and it can go to a Google form, and with it time and date stamped, you can take attendance that way. I know people have used it for marching band. Sometimes the chaos that happens before a marching band rehearsal, kids can come in and scan it, and that's just another way to use technology to your advantage to save you a little bit of time as you go through. But once again, here is the URL for this presentation, and here is the QR code. Please make a copy, share it out, do what you need with this presentation. That's one of the things that I've really did my heart good during the pandemic, is how well everybody kind of stepped up, from individual teachers to music companies, on providing just resources so that we can all get through this together and be as successful as we can together. So if you know someone who might need this presentation or want to use this presentation, please share it with them. You don't have to ask permission. Just put it out there and let's go. Now, here is the outline for this session. Once again, it was created with the fact of us being in person. And so as we get to number 4 down here, it's going to be hard to do the wrap up and questions, but I will have some some slides and information at the end with my contact information on it. We'll get to that soon. But we're going to do introductions. We're going to look at apps, add-ons, and extensions. Then we're going to look a little bit about the Google Workspace and some things, some tips and tricks that you can use to make that experience better for you and your students. Introductions. My name is Stephen Keys. I am a Google Certified Educator Level 1 and 2, Google Certified Trainer, an Apple teacher, a band director for 23 years. I recently retired, and I've taught all grades 5 through 12. Now, I do not tell you these two things here to brag. or to boast. I tell you these two things because I'm one of you. I've been in the trenches. I've gone through what you're going through. Um, my successes and my failures, we've been there. And so that's why I'm coming. This is how I'm approaching this session today. Is I'm just one of you. I'm not trying to sell you my book or a program or anything like that. If things have worked for me, then I know they're going to work for you. And so that's how I'm coming at this. So hopefully, once again, if my students can get it, your students can get it as we go through it. The first thing we're going to talk about are apps, extensions, and add-ons. Now, some of you may be asking, what are those? If you look at a Google Doc and a Microsoft Word doc, you're going to see a lot more tools on a Microsoft Word doc. But if you really think about it, a majority of those tools listed on that Microsoft Word doc you're not using. And so what Google has done is Google has pared down all the tools to the biggies that everybody uses. And so occasionally you will come across the need for a tool that's not there. Well, that's where add-ons and extensions come in. These are third-party creations that people needed. And so they created an add-on or extension for it and then put it in the Chrome store so you can download and add those to your Chrome experience. The really cool thing is a lot of the tools that you see in the Google apps started out this way. And they became so popular that Google took them and added them as permanent features of the program. And that's one of the things I always tell everybody. If there's a feature that you're missing that you think needs to be there, email Google and tell them. They read every one of them. And if enough people request a feature to be added, Google adds it. And so if there's something, as you're going through your Google Doc or your Google Sheet or your Google Slide, and you wish it had a tool, well, email Google and let them know that. But also look at add-ons and extensions. Somebody else may have also had that same need and may have already created it. So that's what we're looking at as we go through apps, add-ons, extensions. Your first link is right here, and this takes you to the Chrome store. And so if you click on that link, it takes you to the Chrome store, and you can see all the extensions that are available. I'm going to go out of full screen for a second. And so you click on that, there's a link right there. You can look at the different extensions that are available. And there's some really cool ones out there. People have really done a great job of creating some tools that you may need. And so as you go through and spend some time looking through the Chrome store, you're going to come across a lot of things that you're going to want to add. Now, as a teacher, you will probably have access to more things than your students will. You may come across an extension that you want to use that your students may not be able to add because it hasn't been approved by your district. The district I worked in, Franklin County Public Schools, had a curated list of extensions that were already pre-approved. And so teachers send in requests, we need this, we need this. The school district tech people curated those into a list that didn't need any other approval. Click on it and go. If there's an extension that you come across that your students, that you want your students to have, that's unavailable, just email your tech resource person for your district and let them know what the extension is and what you're going to use it for, and I bet they'll approve that and they'll do it very quickly. But look at the extensions, click on it and go through it, and you'll see a lot of them on there. Now, you're going to add a lot of extensions to your Chrome. Unfortunately, it's going to slow your Chrome experience down because you're going to have all of these things running in the background of your Chrome. And so it has the ability to slow you down. That's where your first one comes in here. This is Extensity, and that's the link that takes you to that link. Extensity is an extensions manager. It lets you turn on and off extensions as you need them. Now, up in the upper right-hand corner, you see a little puzzle piece. That's where all your extensions are. And right now, I've got 3 that are running: MetaMask, Moat, and Screencastify. Well, down here is Extensity. If I click on Extensity, this lists all the extensions that I've downloaded. The ones that are grayed out are not turned on, so they're not using anything. They're not working right now. If I wanted to use Insert Learning, I would just click it. Now Insert Learning is available, and I can use it. When I'm done, I turn it off. And what that does is that really helps with my Chrome experience. So if your device is running a little slow, if your Chrome is running a little slow, you might have a lot of extensions open. And so if you have Extensity, you can then go through and turn those on and off. Now, you also have a button underneath the puzzle piece called Manage Extensions. You can do it here too. You can turn them on and off here, but that's just another step. Extensity really makes that process very, very easy. What I use Manage Extensions for is to completely remove an extension that I'm not going to be using anymore. For example, if I wanted to get rid of the Capital One shopping extension because it's not doing what Samuel L. Jackson said it would do, I could open up my extensions manager and hit remove, and that is gone. Okay, it's not even, I would have, if I wanted to go back and use it again, I would have to download it again. So I use extensions manager, manage extensions to remove apps and extensions that I'm not using anymore. I use Extensity to just come in and turn on and off apps as they go. So that's the first one right there. The second one is Screencastify. Screencastify allows you to make recordings of your computer desktop. I'm using it right now to make this video. I can record like I am now with the desktop, my computer desktop here, and my camera down here in the bottom. I can use just the computer desktop, or I can use just the webcam, and I can have those things running that way. They also have added an editor, so you can make a video, then you can edit the video down. You can splice different videos together. It's just a really, really great tool to have. I use Screencastify as an option for students to turn in their playing test. I like video playing test. I like to see the students. Audio just gives you the sound, where video lets you look at posture and hand position and embouchure, and it allows you to give feedback on those items as well. And so students can either turn in playing test with just their camera, with their webcam up, with them sitting in front of it playing, or they can put the sheet music up on their screen and have their webcam in the bottom. That way you can see the music as well as their faces. And they can share those videos back and forth. Now, when you download Screencastify, it will make a folder in your Google Drive called Screencastify, and that's where all your videos are saved that you create, and then you can share those links out that are created from those videos. I used Screencastify a lot during the pandemic, during shutdown, to make tutorial videos. Instrument demonstrations. If I had some specific detailed instructions that I would make short videos of them so that they could see me tell them what I wanted the students to do. If I had a piece of music and I wanted to demonstrate how a piece of music went, I would put the music up on the screen and make a video demonstration of me playing that for the student. It really gave the students a chance to pause, take in the information, and then resume. If you have a student that missed something, they could go back and watch the video. If they were confused about something, they could go back and watch the video that's in there. And then you can take these videos and post them in Google Classroom as links. The kids click on them and the video just starts playing. It is a wonderful, wonderful tool. and it's so easy to use. It's just a couple of clicks and you're set, and you're ready to go with those. The third extension is called Moat. And what Moat allows you to do, it allows you to leave verbal feedback. Instead of typing in comments, you can speak them. And for me, that's a blessing because I'm not a great typer at all. I would much rather speak the comments. So for example, if I have a Google Doc up here and I highlight this and I click comment, well, here's the Moat button. If I click that button, I can then speak the feedback. The kids get an MP3 recording of me giving that feedback that they can listen to. They can hear my inflection. They can hear my excitement when they do things right. Sometimes, well, you just get more out of, I think, verbal, oral feedback more than you do sometimes typing in the comments. Typing in, hey, great sound. You can still type if you want, great sound, all this, and a kid will read it, but yet you can give them the verbal feedback where they hear your voice. There's a lot more to that. Moat also allows you, if you need to have, I don't know, evidence for something, you can download a transcript of each of the recordings so that if an administrator or something needs proof or evidence, you can then provide them with a transcript of that. Now, all of these, Extensity, Screencastify, and Moat, are free. Moat does have a subscription, and I think Screencastify has a subscription, but the ones that for what you need and for what you're going to do, they're free. And so you can use those. I have all of my students download all of the things that we're going to talk about on their Chromebooks. The school that I taught at was very fortunate. We were one-to-one with Chromebooks. And so at the beginning of the school year, when you're doing that get to know you time and that get back in the swing of how to do school for those first few days, I would have the kids pull up their Chromebooks and we would go through and I would make sure that they have all of these different extensions and programs added to their Chromebooks so that when we did use them, it was an easier process. Now, what you're also going to see with these things here, not only are they useful in your band room, but they're useful in every class that they're going to take. I know that at my school, every kid in the school has Screencastify on their Chromebook because teachers use that in all of their other classes as just another way for students to communicate their understanding of the subject a different way. And so not only are these great for music class, these are great for any subject matter that you're using. Okay, so once again, Extensity is your extensions manager, lets you turn them on and off. Screencastify video recorder, and Moat is an audio recorder to provide feedback. Add-ons. I've only got one add-on here, and this one is actually music specific. Hey, and this is the add-on from flat.io for docs and slides. Flat.io is an online music notation program that is good. But they have created a free add-on that lets you add musical snippets right into a Google Doc or Google Slide. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Google Doc again, my KMEA 22 doc. To get an add-on, you come up here to the add-ons tab in your toolbar, and then you say Get Add-ons. And it will take you to a place that's different than the extensions, but you have all these different add-ons here that you can add. You would then just type in flat, and then there it is. And then you would just click on it. For me, it's already installed, and so it's already appears there. And then once you have it, it will appear under your add-ons tab, and all your add-ons that you do will appear here. Extensions will appear under the puzzle piece in the upper right-hand corner of your Chrome web browser. Add-ons are down here. Now, you will have to add this add-on for Google Docs and Google Slides, but it's a very, very simple process, and you can do that. What it allows you to do, I can then come over here and hit Insert Musical Snippet, and you've got all these different staves that you can use. I'm going to click on just single staff here. You've got all your tools that you will need. Now, when it's really meant for smaller examples, 6, 7 measures. You don't want to put anything too big in here, because I'll try to explain it better as we get going. But if I just want to come in here and let's say we're talking about scale theory in band class, I can just create a major scale here, and I want to get rid of that measure, so I'm going to hit boom, whoop, boom, boom, and now I have this C major scale constructed. It has playback, so the kids can hear it. You've got all the different tools atop here that you will need, that you'll come across. But once you get it the way it's set up, you just hit Insert, and now that snippet appears in your document, and it appears as a graphics file. And so you can take it and spread it out. You can manipulate it. You can move it around. You can do all that, because it's a graphics file now. And so you can have access to that. You can copy and paste it and put it in Google Forms and create quizzes. What you don't have, though, is you don't have the playback feature in the Google Doc. And a lot of it comes down to just copyright issues. There are certain things that you can and cannot do because of copyright. But if you put this in a Google Doc and you want your kids to hear it, if they highlight it and then go to the add-on, it should pull up that musical snippet that you just created. There it is. And then they can hear it that way. And you can edit it that way. I use this flat add-on a lot in Google Slides. I have my slide presentation, my daily rehearsal outline pulled up on the screen, and it's sitting there. And if there's like a tricky rhythm that we're trying to figure out in a piece of music, I can have the rhythm typed in here. Like I say, if we're doing scale theory, I can have the major scale talk written out, and we can do whole steps and talk about whole steps and half steps and how to create a major scale. What I really, really like about it is if I'm using the same thing for multiple classes and then I want to go and erase it, I don't have to rewrite the music anymore. And so that is saved in here, and then I can use my marker and we can talk about the different aspects of scale theory or counting rhythms or things like that. But it is a free add-on that is used constantly. And once again, just like the other tools, I have my students download this add-on. That way they can put some things in Google Docs. They can have access to where if I send them out something, once again, like so, they can just click on it and then they can go and listen to that short example. If you're putting a rhythm in, they can go in and listen to that rhythm, and that will help them get that. But it's available for both Slides and Docs, but you will need to do the add-on. And under Google Slides, it's the same way. Add-ons, get add-ons, and then it's in there, and then you can drag it around, and it's like I say, it creates a graphics file so that you can manipulate it as you need to fit in there. But that is the flat add-on for Docs and Slides. It's going to be a tool you use a lot. Now let's look at some apps that I use with my students. These are all free, and so once again, anything we can do that saves us a little bit of money throughout the whole process is worth it. The first one is ReadWorks. And once again, these are all links and they take you to the site. These are all things that you have to sign up for, but they're free. And so you sign up for them, and your kids sign up for them, and you're good to go. ReadWorks and Flipgrid both integrate really well with Google Classroom. And so Flipgrid and ReadWorks will both pull in your rosters. And then when you send something out, as long as the kid has joined your Google Classroom, it'll appear in the Google Classroom, and they just click on the link and go. But I like ReadWorks a lot because it gets your kids thinking a little bit. They can read articles on different topics. And it's just a different way to cover things. And there are, once again, under class admin, it pulls in Google, all the Google classes that are in here that I have, and I can just click on it and send things straight out to these classes. Across the top here, it keeps a list of your assignments, current ones, which are none, future, past assignments. These are all the articles that say you don't want to reuse something that you've already done. These are all the articles that you've already learned. And then they have topics on every subject and every grade level. And so if you were to come up here and you were to type in music, you go to music and performing arts. These are the different articles that you have access to. And so you can just send these out. The students can read the articles. And then we'll talk here in a second. Let's say, for example, let's do New York Phil. See, I told you I couldn't type. New York Philharmonic. Uh-oh. Guess I have to spell it out. New York Philharmonic. And then these are articles from the New York Philharmonic. For example, here's program notes for Gershwin's Cuban Overture, program notes for American in Paris, Mahler, just all kinds of things that you could use with your students. Now, you can sort by grade level. So if you want an article for your middle school kids, you can sort by just those grades. High school kids, you can use those grades. Elementary, so you can sort by grade level. I will say this: there are some articles, advanced articles in high school that I've used with my younger kids, and there are some articles for my younger kids that I've used with my advanced kids. Read them, explore, find out what would work best for you. For example, let's look at the program notes here for American in Paris. This is from the New York Philharmonic. These are their program notes. Gives you basic information about what American in Paris is. What I really like about ReadWorks, and we all have those students who struggle to read. It is just a fact of life. Some students struggle to read. You also have the option to listen to the article being read. Okay, so they can push play and follow along while it's being read to them. That's why I use some of the advanced articles with my younger kids. There may be some things that they don't understand, but they can hear them. And so that's a way to do it. They all come with question sets. Some of them are short answer like these. A lot of them are multiple choice. And one of the great features that I really dig about ReadWorks is it grades things for you, especially multiple choice ones. It grades it for you. It saves you a little bit of time. You get a spreadsheet with that assignment that lists all the students, and it lets you know which questions they've completed, how many they completed, which ones they got right or wrong. And so it's a great tool to have that will save you some time, that you can kind of just quickly check their learning and how they did on the assignment. Another thing you can do with ReadWorks is you can send out this article on American in Paris, but then you can also find a YouTube video of an orchestra playing American in Paris. And you can have the students compare what they read to what they heard. Did reading, did reading the program notes help them understand the piece? Did the piece sound like what the program notes said? And then once the students have figured out what program notes are and how they're used, they can write their own program notes for one or two of the tunes that you're working on now. And so you get the kids really thinking about what they're doing more than just pushing down buttons. And so you can kind of app smash this with YouTube, have the kids write their own program notes. It's a great tool. And once again, if I want to assign this to a class, I hit the assign button and then I pick which class I want because it's already pulled them in. I make the audio available. And it publishes it right to Google Classroom. And so it would show up as a link. The kids click on it, they read, they complete the assignment, and it's done for you. And like I say, there are things in ReadWorks on all kinds of topics. So you will find something to benefit you and your students as we go through. Flipgrid is a video-based program that allows students to record themselves. It's very similar to what I was talking about earlier with Screencastify, but I've been using Flipgrid forever, and it's just a great way to put out an assignment. The students can play their instruments and send it to you. You can ask them questions. You can do concert reflections. You can have the students, after a concert, put a question in Flipgrid, what is something we did really well, and have the kids give you verbal feedback with that. Once again, playing test. It's a great way to keep a record of students' playing tests because you have all of their Flipgrids curated over different things that you want them to learn. And once again, it's free. You've got to create an account, but it integrates directly with Google Classroom. It pushes the assignments in, pulls the assignments out. I mean, it's very, very simple to use. Both ReadWorks and Flipgrid are worth you looking at and going through and checking out. I think you will find those to be very beneficial to you and your students. And once again, they're free. Okay, they're absolutely free for you to use. The last one that we're really going to talk about here is BandLab. Let me pull it up here. BandLab is a digital audio workstation. It's very similar to a program that I used a lot called Soundtrap, and it allows students to create their own beats, their own backing tracks. It allows students to create their own jams. And it's absolutely 100% free. And so once you log in and you get your account set up, you come to the workstation, and down here at the bottom, you can do BandLab sounds, and they've got all kinds of different loops and one shots and different things packaged in here. They've got them grouped into categories. And then so if you come up here and you want to use this one, you just grab it and drag it and put it in there. And now the students have that beat. I have no idea what this one is. And you can layer different loops. You can change the tempo. You can change the key. Students can create backing tracks. They can import if they record themselves playing a musical excerpt, they can import that into here and add loops and beats on it. They can sing. They can do vocal track and then add it and put it in. And it's just a really great way to get the kids creating. You're looking to try to get a kid to practice. Have them create a backing track to a song out of the band book and send you a recording of it. They're going to spend hours making sure it's just right. And so they will try different loops. They will add different things in it. And all along, they're also practicing. The horn is on the face. And so Band Lab, Soundtrap, these are ways I use them as enhancements to get the kids to try to practice a little bit more, to put the horn, like I say, to put the horn on the face and to play. We all have seen those CDs or MP3s that come with band method books, and they're not real good. The kids will use them for a couple of times, and then you end up seeing uh, CDs laying around because the kids just don't like them. Now they have the ability to create their own backing tracks using Band Lab. Once again, it's free. The kids can just download it, log in, and go. Now, there are some links here to Edpuzzle, Incredibox, and Chrome Music Lab. You can explore these. Edpuzzle lets you add questions to videos. So if there's a YouTube video that you want them to watch, or Khan Academy, or any video, you can go in and the video will play, and then at a certain point it'll stop and it'll ask questions. The kids will answer a question about something that they've done before, and then move on. Incredibox is a visual digital audio workstation that lets the kids create some simple beats and jams. It's fun. The kids will have a good time at it. Once you introduce Incredibox to your students, be prepared to listen to Incredibox from your students because they'll really be into it. And then the Chrome Music Labs are just some laboratories and experiments that Google has put together centered around music. Really worth kind of looking at, especially for, I think, younger classes, as well as maybe general music classes. So you can look at those there. Those are the three other ones that you can go and look at. Now let's talk about the Google Workspace tools. Google Workspace for Education is just a rebranding of the Google for Education tools. The tools are the same. The icons have changed with how they look, and they've got a new name, but it's still the same. It's still Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Sites, all that, Google Drive, with your main hub being Google Classroom. And so what I've done here now is I've just put together a few tips and tricks that I like to use for these Google tools to make life a little easier for me. First of all, in Google Classroom, be consistent with how you add your information. You want to remove as much confusion as possible from the students. And if you're adding all these instructions, and every day that you do it a little differently, the kids are going to have a hard time keeping up and knowing what's going there. So as you put your items in Google Classroom, just be consistent with how you do it, so that the students get used to seeing that every day they go to it, it looks very similar, and it removes a lot of things, a lot of confusion from them. Take advantage of the topics. Don't just put stuff in Google Classroom. Create a topic. It's more of like an index, and it appears on the left-hand side of your Google Classroom. And the topics allows your students, to kind of click on that topic, and then everything about that topic is there, instead of having to scroll through and try to find out where it's at. So take advantage of the topics. Topics can be anything from Christmas concert, spring concert, solos and ensembles, anything. But take advantage of it. I think it's going to make the Google Classroom experience better for you and for your students. I am a huge fan of the 3-digit labeling system. And what I mean by 3-digit is I start everything with 3 digits: 001, 002, 003. Because especially in like Google Drive, everything appears alphabetically. And so if I put symphonic band and I've got a bunch of other folders in Google Drive, I've got to scroll all the way down to the S's. Well, if I put 001 symphonic band, the first thing that appears when I open up my Google Drive is symphonic band. 002 wind ensemble. I don't have to go all the way down to the W's. It appears right there. And so by using that, the 3-digit labeling system, everything appears at the top in that order. And so it's really easy to find. So give that a consideration as you're doing your labeling and putting things in Classroom and Google Drive. Make a copy for each student. This is the biggest one that people forget. When you put a document in Google Classroom that you want your students to download, if you do not hit that make a copy for each student, then everybody's on the same document and it can be chaos. And so if you put an assignment in there, just be sure to put that make a copy for each student. That way your original is always there. Your original's not getting hijacked. And then if a kid does this great work and another kid comes in and erases it, if you have make a copy for each student, then everybody has their own thing. So be sure to hit that button. Less is more. When we first shut down for the pandemic, I would have these epic lesson plans typed in to Google Classroom. I mean, it was beautiful. Nobody was reading them. And so I would have all of these things typed in there that they weren't reading them. Get to the point. That's where I also think video comes into play. Screencastify videos, YouTube videos, or Flipgrid videos, where you can put those links in there with the instructions. Kids are more apt to watch a 1.5, 2-minute video than they are to read this epic thing that you've typed up. Okay, so get to the point of what you want the kids to do and move on. The more information you get in there, you're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel, man, look at what I've done, and nobody's going to read that. All right, so less is more. Okay, be consistent, use topics, think about the 3-digit labeling system, make a copy for each student, and less is more. Get to the point. Now, on YouTube, there is a YouTube video for everything out there. A lot of the music publishers are now putting everything on YouTube. Instead of sending out the CDs, instead of sending out the MP3s and they're putting it out there. And so if there is a song that you're wanting to play for your kids, find the YouTube video, put it out there, share the link. It's going to be on there. Create playlists for your students. Okay, you've got a concert coming up. You find videos of all the pieces that you're playing, curate it into a playlist, and put that playlist in the Google Classroom so that the kids have access to that. Have the students create playlists. Have them go through and listen to music and find something that they may want to play, and they can share the video with you as well. Now, a couple of tricks when it comes to YouTube. You can download YouTube videos. I'm not 100% sure it's legal, and I'm not sure that you won't get in to copyright trouble, but you can. For example, here's the YouTube video of the Marine Band doing Children's March. If you come up to the URL and you take away the E, the B, and the U, it takes you to, pause. It takes you to this, and you can select the type of audio you want, and you can download the video. Once again, you've got to be careful with copyright issues when it comes to all of that. Now, right here, with ads. I can't tell you how many times you pull up a video and all of a sudden you're inundated with ads. Sometimes it can be VRBO. sometimes it could be um, some inappropriate things pop up. To get a YouTube video that is ad free, you want to put a dash between the T and the U in YouTube. So if I come back to my video here and I come up here to the URL and I put a dash and then I hit enter, now the video is there, full screen, no ads. And you can even share the video out with this URL. And when a student opens that video up on their device, no ads. And so that's just a couple little tricks. I've been using that one a lot because you just never know what ad's going to show up. Finally, Google Sheets, just a couple things here. Split columns and check boxes. Split columns, a lot of times you'll have your rosters where it's last name first, last name and then first name, but it's all in the same one. And so when you go to sort, you don't get the ability to sort as you want. If you highlight those names and they come under data and split text into columns, it splits it, and you can tell it. Right now it's detecting automatically. It kind of knew that after that comma, that's where it should be. But you can do it by comma, semicolon, period, space, depending on however you want it. And now you have last name, first name. And so that will help with your sorting. Check boxes. If I highlight this row here and I hit insert and check boxes, now I've got check boxes in there. So if I'm going around class, I can say, "Hi, Bob Smith, got your horn today. Excellent. Gustav Holst, got your horn today. Percy Granger, forgot your horn again, didn't you?" Yeah. And you can go through and check boxes. And we all know that Stephanie and Allison will always have their instruments. And so you can do that for attendance. You can do that. I love check boxes. You can walk around the room with this sheet pulled up, and as you're listening to kids play or you're warming up, you can go through and add the checks for whatever topic that you want. Got your horn, got your mouthpiece, got your music, got your bodies in the room. And so that's it. Split text, split columns, and check boxes for those. All right, level 1 and level 2 certification. I highly recommend everyone get at least their level 1 Google certification. It is not as hard and time consuming as you might think. A lot of the things that are on the level 1 certification test, you're doing already. You just probably didn't realize what you were doing. And so every teacher of every subject needs to get level 1. And then what you'll see is level 2, it just goes a little more in depth. Then as you move up to trainer and to innovator and etc., they get a little bit more in depth, and they're really thinking about the art of teaching. I have given you 2 resources here. Eric Kurtz is a Google master, and same with Tyler Tarver. They are wonderful educators who have provided all these great resources about getting your Google certification. As a matter of fact, Tyler here on his level 1 checklist, there's videos over every subject that you would come across. So if you're a visual learner, you can click on those. But you have these resources here that will help make getting your level 1 and level 2 certification much easier. But we've got to go ahead and come to terms that we're living in this world now. And the more that we know and understand, the better we're going to be able to function in this world. And so I want to highly recommend that everyone, from the brand new teachers to the old crusty ones like me who have been around forever, a lot of older teachers said the following words: "I'm never going to use this." And then all of a sudden we get hit with the pandemic and everything is virtual and you have to use these things. These are tools that every subject, including band and choir and orchestra and general music, we need to know them. We need to know how to function and get around the world of the Google Workspace for Education tools. And so these are some resources right here that I've included. That if you when you're ready to go ahead and think about that level 1 certification, you can go to here. And Eric and Tyler have put together some fantastic resources that will make your life going through that certification process so much easier. Wrap up and questions. This is the time during this session that we would sit together and answer questions, but we can't do that now because I'm on quarantine. But this slide here, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, this is how you can contact me. My email address is right there. Please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to hear from you, some of the things that you're doing. Maybe you're doing some things that in your rooms that I didn't cover here. I would love to know about it. If you want to put a PD session together for the music teachers in your district, just have someone in your district reach out to me. We've all sat through PD sessions that were not super relevant to what we were doing at the time. My favorite PD session, I think, was math standards in the morning and reading standards in the afternoon. One of the things I'm really wanting to do is to come up with relevant professional development opportunities for music teachers, band directors, and choir directors. And so if you want to sit down and put together a session, have your people, your PD coordinator contact me. I would love to be able to sit down and come up, and I know we can come up with something that would be relevant for you and that you can get a lot out of. But my email address is right there. You just click on it and go. There's not a lot on the YouTube channel right now. That's why I haven't put a link there. And the same thing goes for the wonderfulness that we call TikTok. Eventually, these will all be on here. And if you've made a copy of this presentation, once I've added the information there, you will have access to it as well. Some of y'all may be wondering also about where I got this slide presentation. I did not create it myself. This is from a place called SlidesGo. And SlidesGo has a ton of different templates that you can use. And they had one on here. And me being a tuba player, I had to use the one with the tubas all over it. And so if you're looking for a way to spice up your presentations for your classrooms, hit SlidesGo. And there's a few others out there that have pre-built templates. With that being said, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or need anything. That's what I do. I love talking with educators about teaching. So please reach out. Thank you, and hopefully we'll be in person really, really soon. Take care.